Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the male R&B Mount Rushmore. Y'all know what that means. There will be some singing. This goes out to you, my number one. Spotlight, big stage, 50,000 fans on YouTube singing in a rage. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, y'all, depending on what time zone you're in, it's Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And to my Thursday morningers, guess what this means? One more day till the weekend. Woo! I'm very excited for this long Easter weekend. All right, y'all, I have a good show set up for you guys today. I have 4 lead stories. We're going to kick it off by talking about California Governor Gavin Newsom suing Donald Trump over unlawful tariffs. Experts blame excessive wait for Jet Set nightclub roof collapse in the Dominican Republic. Young Thug's lawyer asked a judge to join Diddy'S defense team, and Gayle King responds to backlash. In quick news, we're going to talk about the male R&B Mount Rushmore: Ice Cube, Justin Bieber, Sexyy Red, Ellis, Anthony Edwards, Sheryl Underwood, Offset, Cardi B, Angel Reese, and McDonald's snack wrap. As always, we're going to close out the show with comments of the day, social discussion of the day, question of the day, and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or devices up, all the way up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Our first lead story. California Governor Gavin Newsom sues Trump over unlawful tariffs. Governor Newsom isn't just sitting back amid Donald Trump's trade battle. He's stepping up and hitting hard with a lawsuit. The focus, Trump's controversial tariffs, one Newsom says will drain California's economy and hurt everyday folks. This Wednesday, Newsom made headlines after announcing he's suing the former president over what he calls unlawful tariffs. I don't know why the article says former president, because he is the current president. However, I digress. He claims these sweeping tariffs are wreaking chaos on the Golden State, the state that just so happens to be the biggest economy in the country. In a statement, Newsom said, President Trump's unlawful tariffs are wreaking chaos on California families, businesses, and our economy, driving up prices and threatening jobs, Newsom says. We're standing up for American families who can't afford to let the chaos continue. All right, you guys already know where I stand on tariff. I'm actually going to be discussing Donald Trump and a lot of your comments from yesterday's episode in today's comment section, so stay tuned. But regardless of my thoughts on tariffs and Donald Trump, I like what Gavin Newsom is doing. I like that he is fighting back for his constituents and for the Democratic Party. I would say this past week or the past 2 weeks has been the most active we've seen the Democratic Party. Jasmine Crockett has been out speaking. Well, she's been not out speaking for about 2 months, but she's been out speaking. AOC has been out speaking. Bernie Sanders has had a town hall on CNN. He was at Coachella. He's doing a lot of talks. And now we see Governor Gavin Newsom saying that he's going to sue Donald Trump. Now, the quick research that I did, I don't think this lawsuit holds much merit. Donald Trump is within his right as the president to do this. However, maybe on a state level, there are some things that he can do. I made some calls out to Cali. I didn't get a call back. If I find something out, I'll let you guys know tomorrow. However, I just like that the Democratic Party is active. I feel like politics are best set up when people are active. I feel like the Democrats took a big blow, losing the election, losing the popular vote, losing in all 7 swing states, and they haven't really known what to do, or they really don't have a leader. Oh, sorry, I forgot Cory Booker when he did that 25-hour stand-in. It was not a filibuster. I know people think it was a filibuster, but it was technically not a filibuster because he wasn't filibustering a specific thing. He was just filibustering Trump. Anyways, I like him being active. I like the Democratic Party being active. Like I said, I don't think it's going to change much, but I like that they're active. Let me know what you guys think about this. don't forget, we're going to talk about Donald Trump in the comment section. All right. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our second lead story. Experts blame excessive weight for Jet Set nightclub collapse that unalived 231 people. Remember when we first told you about this? It started out as 10 people, then 20 people, and it had ballooned up to around 60. Yeah, the final count now is 231. The Jet Set nightclub collapse in the Dominican Republic, which unalived 231 people, was likely triggered by excessive weight from equipment and roof modifications, experts say. Originally a movie theater, the venue had been converted into a music hotspot with transformers, fans, speakers, and other huge gear from the ceiling, which wasn't designed to support the load, structural engineers have said. Eduardo Fernandez says if 6 layers of cement were placed, we're talking about more than 500,000 kilos. It's as if putting the weight of 6,000 people on the roof. Other experts emphasize their analysis is speculative based on debris. A singer recalled warming up saying, I saw employees sweeping up the debris. They told me it was normal that sometimes pieces fall from the ceiling. Among the unalived was MLB star Tony Blanco and singer Ruby Perez. Still a sad situation. As you guys know, as I told you when I first reported this story, I have a lot of friends out in DR. I visit there quite often. Never been to this exact nightclub, but I definitely have heard about it. It was the main spot, Santo Domingo, which is the capital of DR. This is still going on. It's not in the headlines anymore. And I think that's what is hurting them more than anything. So a couple of people were like, hey, can you send this out or whatever? So some people sent this to me. So I wanted to just give a shout out to DR. The club owners are probably going to be sued and lose all their license and everything. Like I just told you, there's people that they were just used to things from the ceiling, just, oh, this is cool, this is normal. Like, it's not normal for things to be falling from the ceiling. But out there, it's about the money, about the turnover, and they're not necessarily caring about the laws and the stipulations and the codes of conduct that they have to follow. So this is just a really sad situation. And hopefully it sheds a light on that area, and there's going to be more inspections and more codes and more things to follow up. Some of the places that I've gone to really have been a little bit like, geez, like we have to like party in here and the roofs, and sometimes it's leaking and dripping. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful next time I go out there and where I choose to party and hang out. But shout out to my people in DR. We are thinking about you. We have not forgot about you. Shout out to DR. Our third lead story. Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, has joined Diddy's legal defense team. Now that Brian Steele accepted to be part of Diddy's defense team, do you think it will increase Puffy's chances of coming home? Okay, this was such a huge story yesterday. It came out actually at night. Kind of weird sometimes when they release things. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but literally it was everywhere. Megan tweeted out and she said, here's something I didn't expect to write. Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, has joined Sean Diddy Combs' criminal defense team. The Shade Room, Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, has joined Diddy's defense team. Like, it's a major, major thing. Just on yesterday's episode, I told you that Diddy is looking for a black female lawyer. I explained to you why and what that will do to jurors and also people in the media, the perception. Bringing Brian Steele on is literally just because he's good. You know what I mean? He literally got Young Thug off with just probation. And look, I understand that Diddy has done some bad things, but if you know about Young Thug's case and you compare it to Diddy, it's a vast difference, okay? Like, we're talking about, some harsh things that Thug was into, right? There's a lot of like unaliving. There was a lot of like hard DRUG. Not saying one is better than the other, but in terms of cases, put them side by side, Young Thug's is far worse, quote unquote, okay? And yeah, Thug is out. Time served. He didn't get bail, and he got 15 years probation. So, Diddy seeing that, being like, yo, and it's a RICO case too, at the end of the day. He has a RICO case, and so did Thug. So boom. Same thing with him taking A$AP Rocky's lawyer, Joe Tacopina. When lawyers are on a hot streak, they have pull, they know what to do. Diddy is looking like he's going to show up to trial with like 15 lawyers. It's crazy. Anyways, because Brian Steele is not a part of the New York court, he had to file a pro hoc vice. Now, we have heard about this pro hoc vice before, if you guys remember, from Tony Busby. So weird that I haven't said the name Tony Busby in a while. For like December, January, February, like every day there was something with Tony Busby. Mr. Busby's pretty quiet now. Anyways, so highlight that Brian Steele is doing it way better than Tony Busby because he has filed his pro hoc vice, and here it is here. I'll read it to you just very quickly. It says, pursuant to Rule 1.3, the local rules of the United States Court of the Southern and Eastern District of New York, Brian Steele hereby moves this court for an order for admission to practice pro hoc vice to appear as counsel for Sean Combs, defendant in the above captioned action. I am a member in good standing of the bar in the state of Georgia, and there are no pending disciplinary proceedings against me in the state or federal court. Please see the certificate of good standing attached. I have never been convicted of a felony. I have never been disbarred or denied admission or read admission by any court. He goes on to talk about the fact that he was suspended for a couple of days during the Young Thug trial because he stood up for Thug. But anyways, he's basically saying, listen, I'm a member of good standings. Can I practice pro hoc vice in New York? So he is doing all his paperwork. He does not want to get kicked out. And now it will be up to the judge to allow him on the defense team. I don't see any reason why they will deny him. We'll follow up and let you guys know. Yo, Diddy is pulling out all the stops. Crazy. I'm sure he's going to have to sell that Miami house because, paying 15, 20 lawyers, crazy work. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our fourth lead story, Gayle King responds to backlash from critics and friends over expensive Blue Origin flight. I don't understand the backlash for real. I actually chose not to speak about it, but there's something that Gayle said here that I wanted to share with you guys for those of you who are part of the backlash and may not like that Gayle went up, okay? But let me read you the article first. Earlier this week, CBS morning anchor Gayle King joined pop star Katy Perry and 4 other phenomenal women in a history-making Blue Origin rocket flight backed by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. The mission lasted just 11 minutes, but Gayle is still floating high spiritually and emotionally. But now that she has landed, so has the criticism. Social media users and shockingly, even some of Gayle's once considered friends came for her, questioning the cost and value of her seat on the spaceship. However, in true Gayle fashion, she's letting folks know this wasn't just a rich folks joyride. It meant something much deeper. Take a listen to Gayle. Here she is.
This is what bothers me, because I've certainly read some of the things online coming from people that I know, that I like, that I consider friends. And this is what I would say to that. Because you do something in space doesn't mean you're taking anything away from Earth. And what you're doing in space is trying to make things better here on Earth. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. I mean, Jeff Bezos has so many ideas, and the people that are working there are really devoted and dedicated to making our planet a better place. That's number one.
Now, look, I'm not going to come here on this microphone on this show defending Jeff Bezos or any other billionaires that are trying to get to space like Elon Musk. Not going to do that. However, I did want to highlight, because I'm fair, the fact that one of Blue Origin's objective is taking waste off the Earth and bringing it to space to help us here on Earth. Now, I did not know that, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Now, like I said, there's a bunch of other things that Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and those guys do that I do not like. I've shared it with you guys multiple times, but I'm happy to know that there are some good to come out of it. Now, the backlash with people saying online, like, oh, rich people spending money, going into space, et cetera, like, again, that's the reason why I didn't bring it to you guys and report it. I feel like that's hate, because if Jeff Bezos wants to spend his money on that, and Gayle King and Katy Perry, they are rich. If they want to spend $2-3 million, however much it costs, because they want to do that. That's their own money. And I just don't feel, my opinion, I just don't feel it's right for us to be like, well, there's a bunch of other stuff. There's this people in the world and that person's suffering and this person's hungry. Why don't you do something else instead of spending $1 million going up to space for 11 minutes? Like, that makes no sense to me. The pollution aspect of it, I get that part. However, I mean, NASA and there's been other space explorations, and if they're coupling their corporate greed with the fact that them trying to take waste and help global warming here on Earth, then there are some good for it, right? That's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, but it's their money. If they want to spend it how they want, like, why don't you get on people for buying Birkin bags? We talked yesterday about Birkin bags and Versace and Louis Vuitton. And what about people that buy, jets? All these celebs that have private jets for $40-50 million. Like, what about that? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you guys like pick and choose, not you guys, because I know y'all are not like that, but just those people that hate online. I feel like they just pick and choose. Just the Masters that happened in Augusta this week or this past weekend, they were showing that there were like something like 2,000 private jets. They had to like rent out places. There were so many jets from billionaires and multimillionaires from all over the world. So how come there wasn't hate or backlash about that? I'm sure those 2,000 jets don't even come close to the one Blue Origin spaceship that went up. So I just don't subscribe to that kind of thing. And shout out to Blue Origin for trying to take our waste off of our Earth and bringing it up to space safely. You got me with that one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Our first quick story. Somebody created the male R&B Mount Rushmore. Do y'all agree? All right, I'm so excited to talk about this. The minute I saw this, I was like, listen, this could have been a lead story here. All right, so let's just get one thing out the way. The person to the left is Chris Brown. All right. It doesn't look like him, but hey, we're not here to judge the artist. We're here to talk about who are the four kings of male R&B. Okay. So here's the original person, Dre Dennis. And I went to the comment section just because I'm here by myself. So I wanted to get a couple of opinions and I'll let you know what I think. I'm a little bit torn, but I think I probably have my answer. Somebody says, who is that supposed to be on the left? Is that Chris Brown? Okay, joke. Somebody says, according to ChatGPT, the top 4 R&B male singers of all times in order are Luther Vandross, number 1, Marvin Gaye, number 2, Stevie Wonder, number 3, and Usher, number 4. That's ChatGPT. I'm not mad at that. Next person says, is that Chris Brown or Leon from Snowfall? I'm going to read you guys some of the jokes too. Next person said, I'm okay with Michael, Usher, and R. Kelly, but how the heck did Floyd Mayweather make the R&B cut? Again, I told you half of the comments are people talking about the Chris. Do you feel like the Chris Brown portrait is that bad? I knew right away it was Chris Brown, like right away. The face is just a little too fat. And Usher, like, why is he there, like, stuck in a corner like that? But like I said, we're not here to judge that, okay? Let's get back to this. Okay, so the next one is, all right, here's where it starts getting interesting. Next person said, Michael Jackson is pop. And how could we just ignore the previous generation? Stevie Wonder, Prince, Marvin Gaye, Babyface, Luther Vandross, Isaac Hayes, Curtis Mayfield. All strong points. We're going to talk about MJ being pop. Somebody says, this is actually funny. Somebody says, it looks like the Mount Rushmore of allegations. That's hilarious. They all have allegations except for Usher. I mean, he has a little bit of skeletons in his closet, but it's really true, actually. Somebody says, is that F word Jaheim? It doesn't look like Jaheim at all. Somebody says, why did I do Chris Breezy like that? I thought it was Bobby Valentino. Hilarious. Somebody put in a Luther meme. Somebody says, Jacquees being there is a crime. Not at all. Labeling Michael Jackson as R&B is crazy work. We're going to get to that. For the sake of R&B, I would have put Stevie Wonder in the place of MJ. MJ has surpassed R&B. That's not to be taken negatively. The other person said, not having the OGs like Ronald Isley, Keith Sweat, Keith Sweat's a good one, Babyface, Prince, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross should be against the law. I felt like Maxwell, Gerald Levert, forgot Gerald Levert, he's a beast. Trey Songz, Tyrese. Okay, I love Tyrese and everything, but Ty cannot be up there in the Kings. Come on. Avant, Darnell Jones. Darnell was dope. I don't think he could be up there in the Kings. Carl Thomas, super dope. I don't know if he could be up there with the Kings. Joe's amazing too, but we're talking Kings, right? Truly don't get the love and recognition that they deserve. But we're talking about top 4 of all times here, okay? Who else? Another person said MJ is not R&B. Another person said, why is Kevin Hart the first on the left? Hilarious. MJ needs his own mountain. Okay, let's go through a couple more. Michael Jackson. I'm not sure if Michael Jackson ever made an R&B song. What? Yo, people are crazy. Okay, more jokes about Chris Brown. Somebody says, why does it look like the Usher statue photo bombed the picture? I thought that was hilarious. All right, let's get to what I want to say now. Okay, here it's the same thing. Chris Brown. Somebody says, is that R. Kelly or Tank? Funny. All right. I think we got the point here. Does anybody else have anything good to say? Respect to the forefathers. Ooh, Teddy Pendergraft. That's another good one. Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross. Okay. All right, here is where I want to get to now. Hold on. Mount Rushmore. No. There was one that somebody had something good here, and I'm trying to find that. Anyways, can't find it right now. Okay, now, I did research, like you guys know I do. I pulled up Google, and I said, is Michael Jackson R&B? Michael Jackson is widely considered to be an R&B artist, though he is also known as the king of pop for his influence on the genre. His music incorporated elements of R&B, soul, funk, and pop, which made him a global superstar. He even won a Grammy for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance and was recognized for his contribution to the soul and R&B genre. Y'all know me, I always have to Google twice, measure twice, cut once. Michael Jackson was a creative visionary and gifted performer who redefined what pop could or should sound like. The future king of pop carried soul and R&B into the mainstream in the 70s with the Jackson 5, and then leveraged music videos and smart collaborations to become a beloved global superstar in the 80s. I think we can all agree that Michael Jackson deserves to be there with R&B. Come on, that's insulting. Okay, now, my big question was R. Kelly. As you guys know, I can no longer listen to any R. Kelly music after his conviction. I just can't. I don't want to hear his music. I don't want to hear it played on the radio. My big reason is he makes love songs. And the fact that he wrote those female love songs, and now we know who he was thinking about when he was writing those songs, I just cannot. And prior to this, I was probably the biggest R. Kelly fan. I probably have every single one of R. Kelly's albums, and I could probably sing each one of them from beginning to end and not know any songs. But I just can't anymore. However, even though you can't listen to it, or I can't listen to it, it's not like we could just forget that he exists. So for the sake of just existing without listening, I think that he deserves to be up there just for what he has done, although I can't listen to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the music genre of R&B, male R&B, Mount Rushmore, I think that he deserves to be there. Usher has to be there. He just has to. He has to be there. He is the Michael Jackson of this era. For sure, they were very different, but if anything, he's more R&B than Michael was. So Usher has to be there. I don't think anybody could argue with that. If you can't argue with Michael Jackson, you can't argue with Usher, and if you can't argue with R. Kelly, then I think the only argument to be had is Chris Brown. I love Chris Brown, but to be on the Mount Rushmore, I find it very, very, very hard. And I think Luther would be a better selection. It definitely is kind of hard to go back to the 60s and 70s. Michael just, I think with 80s and onwards. So I think Luther could be there because he's in the Michael era. So I would personally replace Luther Vandross with Chris Brown personally. Now, I also having a hard time with the fact that nobody has said anything about Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight is my favorite R&B male artist. I Remember You is probably one of my favorite R&B albums ever of all times. I don't understand how come nobody even in the comments said anything. I know he's, in the past couple of years, he's done some whack stuff, but Brian McKnight needs to be up there. Does he need to be up on the Mount Rushmore? I don't know. But like I said, honorable mention. If there was a fifth place for me, I would put Brian McKnight. But I definitely think that Chris could be out there. If I'm replacing him with Luther Vandross, my question to you is, would you replace Chris? And if it was Chris, who would you replace him with? Or would you leave Chris and replace somebody else? I have a feeling like some of you might just replace R. Kelly, but let me know who either the one or two missing places are. I really don't think anybody will take Usher or MJ, but let me know. I cannot wait to see the comment section. I know it's going to be lit with this. Let me know who your four male R&B Mount Rushmore are. Let me know in the comment section below. Our second quick story, Ice Cube honored with hand and footprint ceremony. All right, I don't know why this is not making bigger news. Legend in so many different fields. Ice Cube was honored. For those of you who have ever been to Hollywood, you know the Mann's Chinese Theater, where all these stars are on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I think that's what it's called. Anyways, the Chinese Theater, or I think it's Mann's Chinese Theater, is there, and in front you have all of these blocks of cement where the big names get to put their feet and their hands in their imprint. Ice Cube got his. That is huge. That's almost like the biggest honor in Hollywood outside of like the Oscars and Golden Globes and all of that stuff. He is cemented there as an entertainer, and coming from where he has come from, hip hop, LA, NWA, like I thought that was amazing for him to get this honor. So here is a video. Take a listen.
Do it. Let's go.
Your handprint has been on this city for decades. It's only right that it is cemented forever.
Thank you for everybody that showed up to hear a young dude from South Central Los Angeles get a chance to express how much I'm appreciative and I'm living the dream.
Shout out to Cube. Our third quick story, Justin Bieber and Sexyy Red link up at her birthday celebration. All right, Justin Bieber was turned up as he popped out to help Sexyy Red celebrate her birthday. This looks like more like a video to me. I don't know what is going on. I didn't know Justin Bieber and Sexyy Red were friends. I don't know what's going on here. The past 2 weeks, everything we hear about Bieber is him like almost crashing out. Look at this video and let me know if you think Justin Bieber is doing all right. Take a listen. Somebody please help Justin Bieber. It's looking like it's bad out here, yo. Our fourth quick story. Mufasa got competition. Jay Ellis' Spirit Tunnel dance has the internet talking. Y'all know Jay Ellis, Lawrence from Insecure. Somebody tweeted out and says, Issa was wrong for what she did to Lawrence. It's hilarious. Don't hurt him now, Jay. Jay Ellis is the latest celebrity to take a trip down Jennifer Hudson's Spirit Tunnel, and he's getting a lot of attention online for the fit to the dance move. Social media users are cutting up about the Insecure star. The last time folks were going this hard was for Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Yikes. I don't even like Aaron Pierre, and his Spirit Tunnel is actually better than Jay's, all right? Anyways, take a look. I'm just joking. I love Aaron. Take a look at Jay's Spirit Tunnel dance. Here it is.
K to the E-L, L to the I-A. And we love to see come up on our TV screen. K to the E-L, L to the I-A. Hey, J. Rusho, put your damn hands up. K to the E-L, L to the I-A. So put your damn hands up. K to the E-L, L to the I-A. That's the big fact.
Okay, there was nothing great about that fit, and there was nothing great about the moves. What? He was on beat, like, big deal, yo. Jennifer, call me, man. I'm gonna tear up that whole Spirit Tunnel, and I'll be so much better than Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. I need a good song, though. I need a good song coming down, like T-O-L. That's Trenty. No, we can't copy Mufasa's. We gotta do something. Trenty? Where do you even come up with these things? Anyways, y'all do the music. I'll do the dancing. Hey, hey. You know what I'm saying? You got me, right, guys? Our fifth quick story. NBA star Anthony Edwards' ex hopes custody battle will push him to meet their son, plus asks courts to increase $5,000 child support. By the way, you heard that correct? She hopes that the custody deal will push him to meet their son, meaning he's never seen his own son. And just to further clarify something, because you guys have heard me talk about Anthony Edwards before, this is not Aisha Howard, by the way, because I have something with her next story. That with Aisha, he has a girl. This is a whole other baby mama and a whole other child that he hasn't seen either. It's crazy work. NBA star Anthony Edwards' ex, Ali D, is hoping that ending their legal battle will finally encourage the Hooper to build a relationship with their 1-year-old son. Ali D recently spoke with In Touch magazine along with her legal team about her efforts to settle a custody and child support dispute with the 23-year-old NBA player. According to Ali, she met Edwards in 2020 and had a decent relationship with his family ever since. Although the two were never officially exclusive, they welcomed a son, Amir, in 2023. She claims that when Edwards refiled the case, he made no mention of custody or visitation. Instead, he only asked the court to set a formal support amount. While she admits he voluntarily spent $20,000 in November 2023 for childcare, then more lower payments in some months that followed. She says the amount eventually dropped to $5,000 by April 2025. Her lawyers urge that the $5,000 per month is not enough to cover the child's expenses and plans to move the case to New York, where Ali lives, instead of Georgia, where Edwards originally filed. Still, Ali insists she doesn't want to live off of his money, just wants a fair agreement in hopes that he'll want to see their son in real life. I am so done with Anthony Edwards, and I was such a fan. This guy has a whole other kid that he hasn't seen, and he just was like, yo, he's just out here being with women and just going to the courts and being like, yo, tell me how much I owe for this. Like, it's a speeding ticket. This is horrible, man. Anyways, let's go to the next story. Our sixth quick story. Aisha Howard shows off her baby snapback months after giving birth to daughter with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards' baby mama, Aisha Howard, recently showed off their adorable daughter on a social media post. She also flaunted her post-baby body, confidently bragging how great she looked after giving birth. Fans praised her glow and confidence while celebrating the couple's growing family and their daughter's cuteness. What growing daughter? She's never even seen her. What are you talking about? Anyways, here's the video. Take a look.
I'm just saying, the body is T. Oh, the body is T. This is after an 8-pound baby. Man, tell you just come get at me. Matter of fact, tell you just to stay where they are because they can't get at me.
Now, some people are celebrating her for this video, and some people are dragging her. Like, this is what you don't need to do. You're a mom, blah, 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 blah. Listen, like, this is, how old's her baby? Like a year. She's still in postpartum. If she's feeling confident and she's feeling good, who cares if she's getting on Instagram being like, yo, what up? This is how I look. People are going to hate on her because she has a baby with little baby, and she has a baby with Anthony Edwards. And of course, people are going to call her a gold digger. Call her whatever you want. Say whatever you want. I'm just more concerned about the child and having, their father in the child's life. I could care less what she does online. She's not breaking the law. She's not doing anything. Doesn't bother me personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Our 7th quick story. Sheryl Underwood speaks on why she thinks the talk was canceled. We lost the components that made us great. Sheryl Underwood is sharing her thoughts on why the talk came to an end. Reflecting on the show's earlier days, Sheryl said the panel was once made up of a dream team of 5, which included herself, Julie, Aisha Tyler, Sharon Osbourne, and Sarah Gilbert. But as the lineup changed, so did the energy. Once you get away from your dream team collaboration, do people really care, she said. She also pointed out that if the show isn't cost effective and making money, it won't last long in today's landscape. Once we lost the components that made us great, it ain't your season no more, she concluded. Still, Sheryl says that she would love to do another talk show one day. Here is Sheryl. Take a listen.
How did the talk get canceled?
We had the Dream Team 5. Once you get away from your Dream Team combination, do people really care?
I used to watch the talk from time to time. I thought it was pretty cool. I think personally the reason why the talk is no longer around anymore and or those shows are not very popular anymore is because of online on YouTube. There's so many YouTube shows out there right now, and we're quicker to the punch. We don't have to worry about the corporate red tape and the old linear TV. I think that's why places like that no longer exist. Yes, The View is still around, but I think it's just a different demographic, and they talk a lot of politics where that's not really, really kind of like what we do online as much. So, and also too, The View was pioneering, right? They were the first ones who kind of like did that on daytime TV. So shout out to the ladies at the talk. I think it's social media. I think it's YouTube. I think it's the apps that's definitely changing linear TV. You guys have heard me say this a bunch of times. I don't know how much longer The View will last. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. And let me know if you guys missed the talk in the comment section below. Our 8th quick story. Offset says he wants peace with Cardi B amid contentious divorce. I don't believe this. Offset says he's over the drama and just wants peace. The Migo rapper took to X on Tuesday, April 15th, with a message for fans still caught up in the fallout from his split with Cardi B. He wrote, "Keep my name out this issue. Please, thank you. Tired of the circus. I want out. People, please let them live." Now, I told you guys, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, where he said something like this too, where he's like, "I'm happy for them with Cardi B and Stephon Diggs." So this is another follow-up. And it seems like he really wants peace, although I'm still going to give it a couple of months. In a follow-up post, he added, "I want peace, no smoke. I love all of Cardi's fans. We grown men. So happy. Let her live. I'm happy to see whatever she is doing. And life goes on. We can all be friends." Offset's comments comes after months of back and forth between him and Cardi, including claims that he has been harassing her and Stephon Diggs, even working with a blogger to leak their private business. Cardi and Offset got married in 2017, shared 3 kids together, and began divorce proceedings in summer 2024. That's true. They're not even still divorced yet, finally. Still not convinced. I'm giving him credit for putting a whole week together of trying to be peaceful, but still not convinced, Offset. Our 9th quick story. Congratulations, Angel Reese has purchased her first home at 22 years old. Shout out to Angel Reese. They said she needed to cover up, so I went cover on Vogue. They said that she can't afford rent, so I went and bought a house. Thank ya. Yo, I love Angel Reese, man. Here is a picture of Angel Reese. And the write-up is, Angel Reese has accomplished a lot in her life already. Not only did the 21-year-old NBA star recently retire her mom, she has now purchased her first home. She shared the big news on social media, and her fans are cheering her on. Homeowners, drop a few tips for Angel in the comment section. Shout out to Angel. If you guys want to drop some advice for her, she might be watching. Who knows? Anyway, shout out to Angel. Our 10th quick story. McDonald's kinda confirms a snack wrap return date with cryptic message. All right, here's a cryptic message from McDonald's Twitter. It says snack wrap. It says 0x14 2025. So it's coming some month soon on the 14th, but 2025. Now, the reason why this is a big deal for me personally, my daily listeners, you guys know that I do not do McDonald's or much fast food places, but I do like the snack wrap. I think we talked about this in 2024. It was sometime, I think it was like a couple of years ago where I was like starving and I was at like, I can't remember, I was at a girl's house or something. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, I am starving. And she had no food. She goes, okay, let me Uber Eats you some McDonald's. I was like, oh my gosh, no, I don't eat McDonald's. And she's like, trust me, it's going to be dope. And she ordered me a snack wrap. And it was so good. This was back in the day, right? Because they haven't been around for 2016. And I've always like the only thing that I would ever eat is the McDonald's snack wrap, and they took it off the menu. That's why I'm excited it's coming back, right? There's a backstory for my new listeners. On Tuesday, the fast food chain posted a cryptic message on Twitter hinting that the snack wrap would return on 0x14 2025. And now fans are in shambles trying to figure out the release date. The brand previously confirmed that the wrap would be returning in 2025, but the president of McDonald's told Good Morning America in December it will be back in 2025, but no official date has been announced. So there you go. I said it on the podcast December 20. He told Good Morning America in December 2024. That's when I told you guys. While the 0x leaves the actual month a mystery, the 14th strongly suggests a mid-month drop. Fans have already begun speculating on social media. Originally launched in 2006, the snack wrap became a quick hit thanks to its crispy or grilled chicken, lettuce, shredded cheese, and signature sauce wrapped in a warm tortilla. It was discontinued in 2016, but its legacy has lived on through memes, petitions, and fans asking for it to be returned. This week, post the first time at McDonald's has hinted at the possible return. All right. Is it just me? Are you guys excited? Fast fooders out there or non-fast fooders? Trust me, it's actually really good. Let me know if you guys are excited about this in the comment section below. All right, this brings me to my favorite segment, Comments of the Day. All right, the first one is LaDonna. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. LaDonna says, hey, TOL, screaming, let's go from South Carolina. You have gained an out louder curtsy. I've been listening to your podcast for quite some time now and love everything about your show. You're delightfully funny, yet on point when it comes to delivering content. I've also ordered both your books for my 3 sons, confident it will encourage them. The helmet you wore on yesterday's podcast, hilarious. Prettiest name, mine, LaDonna. That actually is a really pretty name, and shameless plug. Whoop whoop! Super nice of you that you ordered both of my books. Thank you so much for the support, and please let me know what your sons think about it. My books are to motivate and to encourage, especially young entrepreneurs or young people just trying to do anything. That is the purpose of writing those books. So please let me know if you like them and what your sons think about them. All right. Next one is Kim and Corinne. They both highlighted the fact that I made mistakes on yesterday's show and said Howard instead of Harvard. Now, Kim wrote, are you something? I even Googled this word. It doesn't exist, so I don't know what she meant there. Sounds it's probably insulting. Are you something Howard or Harvard? And Kim also said, not Howard. A couple of people in the comment section were nice to be like, oh, Trent, by the way, you made a mistake. Some people were a little like, some person wrote Harvard, not Howard, like 10 times, all in cap locks. Now, I understand not everybody watches the show every day, but I have been very, very open about me being dyslexic. And for some of you who haven't heard, I just want to take a second out to do my due diligence for myself and other people that have dyslexia, because you kind of hear the word thrown around and people don't really understand what dyslexia means. So, you know me, went to Google. Dyslexia is a neurological learning disability that impacts how the brain processes written language. It's the most common learning disability and can affect people of all intelligence levels. Dyslexia is usually lifelong and can run in families, but each person experiences it differently. It can range from mild to severe and impact education, work, and daily life. So here is the post that I was reading incorrectly yesterday. Barack Obama praises Harvard for rejecting Trump's $2.2 billion. Now, I read, because of my dyslexia, Howard. Now, for those of you who watched it carefully, I said Howard through this and through also the article. But then when I read Barack Obama's tweet, I said Harvard the entire time. And then when I read another article, I went back to Howard. I listened to the whole thing. But again, not making excuses, because it's part of my job to do better. However, I've asked you guys for grace a little bit, because that's just not how my mind processes. For me, reading is very difficult, and I don't see words like how a normal person sees words. Let me give you guys a little bit more of a background. You might have dyslexia if, and I circled the 4 that stand out for me, although I apply to every category here. The first one is you have or had trouble with letter reversals, B and D, or word reversals, was and saw. For me, in my head, B and D's get mixed up all the time, and so does was and saw. Anything like that totally messes me up. You have or had trouble reading out loud. Since I was a child, I've been super uncomfortable with reading out loud. I feel a little bit more comfortable now because it's something that I'm like practicing and just getting outside of my comfort zone, but definitely. Here's another one that you guys definitely know and hear from me all the time. You have trouble with recalling names or words. How many times have you guys seen me or heard me saying, yo, what was that? Who was that on Mount Rushmore again? It was T.I. or something, and I'm trying to remember the name. Or I'm telling you guys a story and I'm trying, but names are really, really, really difficult for me specifically. I don't know why. It's different in every single person, but for me, names are hard. Here's another thing that I pulled up. You have difficulty spelling words, reluctant to read out loud in class, confusing letters with similar shapes, and mixing up the position of sounds in words. You guys hear me mispronounce words all the time. So that is the result of me saying Howard instead of saying Harvard. How people with dyslexia end up getting by with having difficulty reading is I don't read, I take pictures of words. So I know what a word looks like and how it's supposed to be pronounced. So I don't read and pronounce words. I take a snapshot of a word, let's say like something. I'm not spelling out something. I just know what something looks like, and I know that it is something. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's why a word that comes up that I have never seen before, I have to Google it, figure out the pronunciation, and then come back. So before the show, I'll prep and be like, I don't know what this word is. I'll Google it. You guys will hear me say it sometimes when I'm reading your comments or reading a name and be like, oh, I Googled this and this is how you say it. So that's, like I said, not making an excuse. As somebody who has a show and a platform who's reading, I have to do better. But I'm just explaining to some of you in the comment section that were so like baffled of like, how can he say Howard when it's Harvard? It's reading for me is very difficult. And like I said, I'm not actually reading like how the average person is reading because I'm dyslexic. So I have to read in snapshots, and names are very, very difficult. So why my brain said Howard like 5 times seeing it, then I read Barack Obama's tweet, and for some reason it could be the see, there you go. I'm forgetting the name. Could be the format. It could be the background. It could be the colors. I don't know why, but if you go back and listen, he said Harvard 3 or 4 times and I read Harvard, but then I went back to maybe it's a smaller font or there was a black background. And for some reason, my brain just saw Howard. Don't ask me why. I do not know. But again, this is why I pulled this up to try to explain to you. This is just dyslexia. Now, the great thing about having dyslexia, and I've said this a couple of times, people that have dyslexia means that I am gifted. I mainly use the right side of my brain, which means I think more in pictures than in words. This is a gift. Like I said to you, I don't think in words, I think in pictures. Like, for example, dyslexia. I cannot spell dyslexia, but I know what it looks like. I know the D, the Y, the S, the L, E, X, A, I, A. I know that word is dyslexia, but I cannot spell it. And sidebar, why would you make dyslexia such a hard word to spell and that be describing people who have a hard time spelling? It should be the easiest spelling word in the dictionary. Dyslexia, I cannot spell it. But like I said, I know what it looks like. Okay, the next positive thing about dyslexia is I have a creative and productive mind. I have built an imagination network for finding many original and pioneering ideas. That's why I'm an author. That's why I was in the music industry. That's why I was an actor. Even in business, designing and the layout of my store, when a lot of brands came in when I first started, they were like, wow, like we've never seen a store like this, the mood, the feel. I think a lot of great CEOs have a great artistic mind. Yes, I'm great with numbers and I could run a business, but I compare the type of CEO that I was that I am compared to somebody like a Steve Jobs. Now, I'm not saying I am on the level of Steve Jobs or anything, but he had a vision of creating an iPhone or creating a MacBook that was different than IBM or the traditional PC computer. And that's the type of person I am. And I know that's because of my dyslexic thinking and the way that my brain thinks. I'm more creative. Even look at the way that I have this podcast. Somebody just 2 days ago was like, I don't ever listen to podcasts, but I listen to yours, but I structured it differently than a normal podcast would be structured. I think credit to my creativity. Next is I have developed deep empathy. I'm empathetic. I understand and feel your pain or happiness. I sense your feeling. Tell me that is not me, right? There's a comment coming up like, I 100% understand. I might not agree, but I understand what somebody's feeling. I understand somebody's comments or whatever. And that has to do with the way that my brain is wired. And lastly, I have humor. I mean, come on, who's funnier than me? Like, what's up? My sense of humor is inborn, good and intelligent. I see myself as a natural successor to Matthew Corrigan. Okay, I didn't even Google that last name, so I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah. So there we go. I know I took a little bit of time, but and there's new people every day, right? So I don't know if the people who commented were new or not, but just try to give people grace sometimes when you see somebody reading something and saying the wrong words. Most of the time, it's not ignorant. Most of the time, it's somebody who's dyslexic. And there's a lot of people out there who don't even know they're dyslexic and or don't like to admit that they are. So I have done talks. I talk about it in my book. Actually, in the beginning, the precursor of my book talks about me having dyslexia, and I'm an advocate for it because I wasn't diagnosed with it in school and everybody thought that I wasn't smart in school. Coming to find out that I was dyslexic, I changed over into a new program and I was on the honor roll and I was in the 90s. So I've always made it a point to just clear that up. Anyways, sorry that I took up the comment section to do that, but hey.
When I was diagnosed with dyslexia, it was frowned upon and it was something that you shouldn't talk about. For me, even until this day, I have difficulties like reading a phone number back to somebody or even reading a book. My eyes are not processing what my mind is thinking, so I'll get really confused when I read. But I'm an author. I wrote 2 books. And not let any of your disabilities hold you back.
All right, so here is one more comment. Let's talk about Donald Trump now. Mama, the rest of it is a bunch of names I think put together, but let's just call you Mama. What's up, Mama? Trent, I'm so disappointed to hear you side with a dictator and crazy manipulator who is destroying millions of lives in what was one of the best places to live is doing any good for his people. Trent, no man, he is destroying everything. Really loved listening to you, but question mark. All right, Mama. Sorry to see you go, because you kind of hinted that you liked listening to me, meaning that you're not going to listen to me anymore. And I'm totally fine with that. A couple of people I saw in the comment section weren't as harsh, but were saying, hey, Trent, why do you feel like you need to give Donald Trump credit? And just want to go back to this. One thing I wanted to point out is like Mama's comment here where she says, Trent, I'm so disappointed to hear you side with. I feel there's a very big difference of giving somebody credit for something than siding with. Okay? If you go back and listen, I said that I strongly disagree with Donald Trump not funding Harvard University. And most of his reasons, he's blaming it on anti-Semitism, but most of his reasons is because they do not want to get away from DEI. Now, my daily listeners know how much of an advocate I am for DEI. I have talked about it at length. I applaud them boycotting Target. And I said that yesterday, too, of saying that regardless of if you agree with Trump or not, I think he should still give the school the money. So I never sided with Trump. When I give somebody credit, whether it be on the Democratic side or the Republican side, I personally think that it's important whether I disagree with their views or not. And this is where we disagree, Mama. Giving Donald Trump credit for following through on what he campaigned on is not siding with somebody. It's actually just being real. And I think if more people would do that on each side of the party, we wouldn't be so far apart and we'd be able to come together more as a people. But what people don't do is give anybody credit for anything. How many politicians do you know that campaign on things and never follow through with it? They campaign, they tell us a bunch of stuff that they're going to do, they get in office and they do nothing. And they do sometimes the total opposite. And that is what I will continue to give Donald Trump credit for, whether you like it or not. The thing that upsets me is that makes you think that I'm siding with him. And I always say, although I'm giving him credit, I disagree with some of the things that he is saying and some of the things that he is doing. And the things that I do agree with, I will tell you. And I do not agree with him not funding the school. And I even went as far to say that if the school was doing, or any school was doing something that I didn't agree with, maybe that this part went over your head, but I said, even if you agree with what they're doing or not, the money is going to help the American population because it's not going to the school. It's going to help fund research and development for the American people. So I said that he should give the money even if he disagrees with them. So anyways, it just disappoints me when I hear comments of things that I clearly didn't say. If you're going to stop listening to me or if you're going to disagree with me at something, make sure that it's actually something I said. Make sure that you actually really listen and rewind maybe before you comment. I never sided with Donald Trump, and I really don't think that there's anything wrong with giving somebody credit for following through on his promise. Donald Trump campaigned and said he does not agree with DEI. I agree with DEI. There's going to be some people that watch this show that will comment that don't agree with DEI. Linda, my favorite person that watches this show, she doesn't agree with DEI and she loves Donald Trump. But you know what? Linda and I could still love each other and we could give each other credit and Linda could say, you know what? Trump is wrong when him and Vance said that stuff about China and peasants. And she could say, hey, Kamala Harris is right with this and that. So Mama, I do hope that you continue watching, but if you don't, I'm totally fine. Just know that you are you are watching for the wrong reasons. I didn't side with Donald Trump on this. I just gave him credit. And more people in this world should give people credit for the things that they do that are good even when they disagree with them, and we'll have a more united world. And as an independent, that's what I would like to see. I would like everybody to stop being so left and right and so far apart and so extreme and come together, because we'll have a better world in the end. That is it for today's comment section. I know it went super long, but I had to get these things off my chest. Donald Trump and dyslexia. All right. So thank you for sticking by, whoever is still listening. All right. This brings us to the social discussion of the day. Should Instagram filters be banned? Music executive Ray Daniels believes that Instagram filters should be illegal. His reason? Well, according to Ray, the filters make people look extremely different. So much so that he doesn't recognize them in person. Here's a clip. Take a listen.
I want to take it to the Supreme Court. We got to get rid of these filters. It was somebody I flew to me. They looked because I saw them on Instagram or saw them on social media. Then I flew them in and I'm like, oh no, it's crazy.
There like, Kayla,
you deceived me. No. I mean, to me, it's deception. I just don't understand how we allowed to do that.
All right. I thought this was funny and also very serious at the same time. So obviously it's a joke, right? But I actually think that women, because there are some guys that use filters, they try to do it on the low, but for argument's sake, let's say it's mostly women that use filters. I actually think I agree with him, and women should stop using so many filters and doing so much alterations to pictures, and or putting up pictures that don't represent who you look like now. Sometimes it could be like older pictures and they post it up now. You look at the dates like, oh, they just posted this 2 months ago. I think it does a disservice to you. And I'm mostly talking about people who are dating. I'm talking about single people. If you're married, do whatever you want. Who cares? Put in as many filters. But he's obviously talking about people meeting up with people who are dating, and then you show up and you don't look like anything who you were. He said he flew a girl out and she showed up like who the hell is this person? He didn't even recognize her. Now, this happened to me one time, and I think I know why girls use filters, because it ended up working. So it happened to me one time where I was kind of catfished. So there was filters, and there were, I'm going to try to be nice, they were older pictures, okay? So I went and met this girl. I went to pick her up, and she came in the car, and without getting too descriptive, like, this was not the person who I met. And right away in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, I got catfished, man. Like, damn it. But what am I going to do at that point? Like, get out my car, whatever. You know, I'm just like, no, it's like, let me just, because we had talks and I knew that we had like some sort of chemistry where I'm like, let me just let it go by. Now, I did let it go by, and you know, things led to where they led. So I kind of understand why some girls do it, because some girls might not feel confident enough that without filters or without touching up will get them in the door. And they're relying on, like what this girl did. All right, so let me get the pictures enough, get them talking, get myself in the door. And then when I'm in the door, my personality and the other attributes can overcome that. Here's the problem. Yeah, that didn't last very long, because that to me developed trust issues. Was she cool? Yeah. Was she cool to kind of like hang out for a couple of times? Yeah, but I always had it in the back of my head that's like, yo, if you're going to lie about that, then what else are you lying? And what else are you hiding? And it just made me feel like you're like manipulative, because you kind of manipulated the situation. So not so much of the sense that like you don't look at it, but if you're actually meeting somebody who you like and you look completely different, that's not a good way to start off a relationship. And honesty is, to me, something that's super important. It's one of the values that I hold true. So for me, it's a complete no. I'd rather see you for who you are and then try to, you know, have your personality overcome whatever things that you're lacking in your pictures. That's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. Ladies, do you think that some of these women overdo it out here? Guys, what do you do if you meet up a girl, my single guys, you meet up a girl and she looks completely different? Do you continue to date? I actually heard one of my friends, he told me, he's like, yo, I went, picked her up, and I didn't let her in a car. I was like, nope, you catfished me, and drove off. I was like, yo, First of all, my whole night's ruined. I planned up, got dressed up and do everything. Like, what am I going to do now? You know what I mean? Like, yes, I guess there's other people I can call, but it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, the night's almost over. It's Saturday night. Let me just, do what I got to do. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to question of the day. Who's one artist you think deserves way more love and recognition right now? Somebody says, I ran through Jagged Edge, Heartbreak, and Heart album Fire. They should get more credit for the solid R&B group that they are. Okay, really? Jagged Edge? I mean, I love Jagged Edge, but we're talking about now. Tory Lanez? I mean, he's talented, but... Okay, somebody made a whole list. Vado, Chicken P, Sada Baby, Wale, A. Marie, Carrie Hilson, Neo, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx. Okay, y'all twerking. Let me see some other guys. Leon Thomas, sorry. Johnny Blaze. Shout out to Johnny Blaze. That's my homie. Johnny, she's super talented. I think she does deserve a little bit more attention, for sure. Can't lie. Who else? Montana of 300. Who's Montana of 300? Don't know who that is. Maybe that's why they need more recognition. Somebody said Bow Wow, hands down. I think Bow Wow gets pretty good recognition for for not having dropped anything in the past 15 or 20 years. He's still cemented in here. Rhapsody. Charlamagne's always talking about Rhapsody, how dope she is. So 100% definitely think she deserves more attention. Let me just make sure this question. Who's one artist you think deserves way more love and recognition right now? Okay, I guess you could go back. I guess it's fair to go back. Somebody said Avant, Lady London. See, that's a good one. If you guys know who Lady London is, she's such a dope female rapper. I don't understand how come she hasn't popped. She's so dope. Jasmine Sullivan, facts. Somebody said Kanye West. Okay, give me a break. Dirk. Okay. Drake. Oh, Lord. Maxwell. Okay, old school. I'll agree with that. Old school, but he deserves more love. Does he deserve to be on the male R&B Mount Rushmore? Maybe not, but definitely an honorable mention. Like, he should be in top 10. Woof. Maxwell. Dum. Who else? Some of these people are putting like handles. Future. I think Future gets enough credit. Music Soul Child. That's a good one. Music Soul Child is dope. I don't know if he gets enough. Kevin Ross. Joe. All right, we talked about them earlier. All right, that's it. All right, not great answers. Yo, tell me some dope artists that we've like forgotten about. I guess we can go back. Somebody who I didn't mention maybe in the male R&B artist or even new artists. That's what I felt like we would get more of. Like new hip-hop, R&B, rock, whatever. Like who's doing something good right now that's not getting recognition? I was going to say Doechii, but I mean, she just won album. What did she win? New artist? Oh, it was rap album of the year. So she's getting her recognition. Somebody like that. Who's new that you feel should be, that we should talk about that's not getting recognition? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to sports news. And like I said a couple of days ago, NBA playoffs are happening. Well, we're in the play-in right now. So that's going to take over sports news for the next month. All right, so last night's game, I watched it. Well, depending on when you're watching this, that's what sucks about taping a show at this time. We're right in the middle. Anyways, for my Wednesday nighters, last night was the Grizzlies and Warriors. I watched that game. Warriors won. I expected a little bit more out of the Grizzlies. Yes, it went down. I can't believe they didn't get that last three off. I was really disappointed. But what I am going to say about the play-ins is what normally happens. People fall in line. Warriors were 7th. They just earned a 7th spot. Now, Grizzlies are going to play the winner of tonight, again, depending when you're listening, the Magics and the King. And the Grizzlies will beat the Magic and the King. So the Grizzlies are going to fall into 8th place. Ja Morant sprained his ankle or twisted his ankle. So, I mean, I think the Mavericks, if anybody, could maybe give Grizzlies a little bit of a headache, especially if Ja's not in, but I feel like they'll still be able to pull it out. And in the East Coast, Magic won. They were 7th place, so they're in. Atlanta, I mean, Atlanta was horrible. They had like a little bit of a run and then it was totally gone. So now Atlanta will play the Heat or Chicago, which is tonight's game if you're watching this Wednesday night. And I think the Heat will probably win, and I think Atlanta will beat the Heat. So basically, all of that to say, I think the 7th and 8th place in the Eastern and the Western Conference will fall into place. That means that Golden State is going to be playing the Rockets. Yikes. I don't know if they could beat Houston. Scares me. I really, really want Steph Curry. Steph Curry, could you imagine on your team, you have Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Steph Curry. How could they not make it to the finals, man? Like, it's crazy. I'm sure. Anyways, we'll see. Then, if Grizzlies get into the A spot, that means the Grizzlies versus OKC. Yeah, Grizzlies are out, man. It's going to be tough. You're not going to beat OKC. That's my team to go to the finals. The finals. And East, Orlando is going to play Boston. Yeah, Orlando's going to play Boston. They're out. And then Atlanta or the Heat is going to play Cleveland. They're out. Anyways, we'll see. The only 7th or 8th seed that I think could do anything is Golden State. That's the only one I think. Maybe Grizzlies, but I doubt it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. That is the end of the show. I'm very excited. We got one more show left. Whoop, whoop. I saw a couple of your comments yesterday. Like, yes, Trent, take Monday off, take Easter Monday off. I don't know, man. I just actually really love sitting down and talking with y'all. So I haven't decided yet. Just keep checking. I don't know, okay? Maybe I'll tell you tomorrow if I decide. I want to just make sure I do something the night before so it's worth it. You know what I mean? I want to be like tired and be like, I can't do a show. But if I'm just sitting down at home, not doing anything, why not just come and just sit down and, check into work and hang out with y'all? You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard. Anyways, well, it's to be notified, okay? Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Thank you for all the comments. Like I said, sorry for taking up so much of the comment section, but I had to let that off my chest. So thank you for letting me do that. All right. Before I let you guys go, just want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the Trent Out Loud podcast. For my YouTubers, if you're ever going on a trip, going on a plane, or you're going somewhere without internet access, have no fear. You could just go onto any podcast platform because we are there. Just go to any podcast platform and type in Trent Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow, subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And just like YouTube, we upload daily. You could just download it and take us with you. Who needs the internet, yo? Vice versa. For those of you who are used to watching this show on podcast platforms, thank you so much for your downloads and your supports. We love you. However, we want to encourage you to come over to YouTube because the Outlouders are here and the comment section is lit. So come and check us out, all right? Head on over to YouTube, type in Trent Out Loud. The show will pop up. Couple of housekeeping rules. You got to hit that subscribe button. That gives you entry into the family. Hit that like button. You got to get the algorithming. Most important of all, please try to comment, answer any questions that I asked or anything that you like or didn't like, even if you disagree with me. Make sure that it's actually that you're realizing what I'm saying. If you disagree with me, please. Shout out to Mama. Maybe this whole mama thing, it might turn into like a friendship like Linda and I. That is actually would be my hope. If you answer back and like, you know what, I did watch back. I take it back. You didn't side with Trump. That is my hope. Anyways, so comment, please. And when you're commenting, please try to leave where you are commenting from. I see the analytics, but this is a global podcast, and it's just nice for everybody to see that there are people all over the world talking and communicating. We are trying to build a community that is understanding and accepting of everyone's views, mama. And so don't forget to, when you comment, leave where you're commenting from, all right? Lastly, if you're really enjoying the show, please try to share it with your family, friends, and loved ones because it definitely helps in growing the channel. For those of you who want to follow me on social platforms, I'm available on all of them, most active on Instagram, and you could find me at Trent Out Loud. We have also started a mini blog page on Instagram called Formally Out Loud, FORMALLY. There is no Trent, just Formally Out Loud. And that is where we'll put some extended videos. I don't think there was one today, but if there's ever videos with like swearing or explicit that we cannot show the entirety on YouTube, we'll put it up on that site or on that Instagram page. So you can follow us there. All right, y'all. That is it for me. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace!